Load up Marvel's Spider-Man. Start a new game. Welcome to an unrealistic representation of a young single man's apartment. Where are the cummy tissues? You are Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, and you have overslept, which for a normal young man is absolutely fine. But when you're the difference between someone going on life support or not, that bad sleep schedule starts to become a problem. There's apparently some illegal activities with a guy called Fisk downtown, so jump out your window because using the front door isn't Spider-Man enough, and call Captain of the Police Yuri to ask if they've arrested Fisk yet. She's like, no, not yet, we just need a warrant. Meanwhile, his men are gunning down civilians in the middle of the street. Is that not enough of an excuse to go into his gap? Head to the tower where this guy's literally just got rockets and shit coming out of his place, which I've got to say isn't going to help him in court. Yuri looks at us and goes, yes, you have permission to help Spider-Man. Yeah, no shit, everyone's dying. Go inside and fight your way up the tower. You need to be fast because Yuri's like, they're wiping the data servers. We need that evidence. Oh no, what could we possibly arrest him for if he wipes his data servers? Find Fisk in his office wearing a suit that's one size too small for him. Turns out his muscles aren't just for show. He can throw big heavy things around, and your punches hurt him about as much as a foot rub from a homeless man under a bridge. But after fighting him for a bit, you win because you're the good guy. That's how this shit works, and the police are able to arrest him. Now that you've dealt with the morning acts of terrorism, it's time to do your normal science job with Dr. Octavius. He's trying to link the brain to prosthetics so he can control them with his mind, and is preparing for a showcase with a grant committee. Is it supposed to do that? Repair the prosthetic, then meet up with Yuri again. She wants you to fix some Oscorp surveillance system. I don't know if she knows that you're the smart guy who can do this sort of stuff, or if she just can't be bothered calling Steve the electrician in, but you repair it, which allows you to see when bad stuff is happening, like this breaking and entering, as well as this gang rape. Honestly, if this was real life, I feel like criminals would be too scared to actually commit any crime if it meant a young man in spandex came over and sprayed spider juice on them, or maybe that's exactly why they're doing it, who knows. Head to Octavius' lab to repair your suit. When he walks in on you doing it, it's almost like going to someone else's place to repair your shit isn't a good way of keeping your secret. Luckily, he thinks you're just the guy who makes the suit and not actually Spider-Man, which is either a compliment or an insult, and I'm not going to try and figure out which. This guy Martin Lee is throwing your Aunt May a surprise party for a hard work at a homeless shelter, so you go there to celebrate. You get about 5 minutes of peace and quiet before Yuri rings you again because a silent alarm tripped in an auction house holding Fisk's stuff, and despite having an entire police force at her disposal, she insists on sending the nerdy man in a skin-tight suit. Go into the building all quiet-like and see that there's some masked bad guys looking for a file. They're probably looking for Fisk's browser history. Anyway, you start taking them out, then one of them catches you. Oh no, you are really threatened by this one man all by himself in a room with no witnesses. Oh, thank God she got him. I was really scared for a second there. This is MJ, a reporter and your ex. Let's hope you ended on good terms because she calls you by your Sunday name when you're in Spider-Man mode. She knows your secret. She was trying to do a report on Fisk being a criminal when she found the file in this statue, and that's when these masked dudes turned up, and she was like, oh, I better go hide. You need to get her out with the file and start taking out bad guys, but apparently she can't just wait for you to be done superheroing and gets caught, so you run in to save her, and the bad guys run away with the file. Meeting with MJ after 6 months got you all kinds of horny, so you ask her on a date, but apparently your hard-on for MJ isn't as big as your hard-on for justice, because the police go past and you disappear faster than my will to live. Chase down this guy Shocker who just got out of prison and has immediately started robbing places again, which I think is a parole violation, but I may need to double check. MJ calls you because she wants Martin to look at one of those masks from the bad guys because he has an art degree and criminal gangs are definitely related to art. When you take it to him, he gets a bit flustered and nervous, almost as if he knows exactly where the fuck you got this from, and he's like, oh no, this is dangerous stuff. MJ shouldn't follow this story. He's definitely working with the masked men. You don't pick up on that because you might be smart, but you lack all common sense, and head over to Octavius' lab where he's got his prosthetic working on a random guy, which is great. It's a shame his place gets shut down by the mayor, Norman. Basically, you're unemployed. Maybe you should start a YouTube channel. Yuri then calls you saying that Shocker has escaped. You just go and arrest him again, where he conveniently mentions he's working for some guys with masks. What a coincidence, because the guys you saw earlier also had masks. Maybe they're related, I don't know. They're currently at one of Fisk's shipyards being illegal and shit, so head down there and meet police officer Jeff. You find the masked men stealing stuff from a secret vault and chase them down the street. They'd probably get away if they knew how to drive. They have like a head-on collision with this truck that they somehow survive, and when you're busy stopping the truck from falling onto the train tracks, the van driver flips a U-turn instead of trying to get away and tries to run you over. Then Jeff shows up and crashes into the van, survives the crash with no injuries, then beats up this guy. Let's be honest, Jeff's the real superhero here. Finally, after 2 full days since the Fist Tower thing, you decide to get some sleep, which is understandable. Even superheroes need a nap, but while you may be able to protect the public from the powerful jaws of death, you can't protect yourself from rent payments, so you're homeless. This game should be called Spider-Man No Home. All your stuff got thrown out by your landlord, and you need to go find it. Somehow you've gone from honorable superhero to homeless dumpster diver in the space of 5 minutes, and spend most of the night looking through rubbish until you find your bag with all your stuff in. Since you're homeless now, you might as well go and stay at the homeless shelter. Martin Lee shows up the next day saying he's got some business to take care of, probably evil business relating to the masked men. Masked men is really annoying to say, so they're called the Demon Gang. I'm not sure why I didn't just write that from the start, but I can't be asked going back to change it now. Jeff gets a Medal of Honor for his bravery, which seems a bit unfair because you don't get shit and you do this on the daily. But as he receives it, Norman gets a phone call being like, "We're gonna make you suffer." You get knocked the fuck out saving MJ, and everyone's screaming because it's really scary in that. Jeff's son Miles tries to go find his dad because he was right in the middle of the explosion, and not to be a Debbie Downer, but if you got hurt by it, then Jeff at point blank range is probably scattered on a nearby building. Miles tries to take out one of the demon gang, which obviously doesn't work. They're highly trained, and just as he's about to be murdered, Martin Lee calls his men away. I fucking knew it. There's a funeral for Jeff, and his family's kinda sad. More importantly, you somehow know that it was Martin behind this shit, even though you were away with the fairies, and ask Yuri about arresting Martin. She's like, nah, we need evidence because they can't trust the word of a guy who's literally the reason they're still in business. Break into this recycling center that's also a secret hideout for the demon gang where you find all kinds of plans for bombs and attacks and evilness. Then go to this other place that has more evidence and shit. Some guys show up about to execute this bad guy. You stop them because killing is bad, but apparently beating them up within an inch of their life is perfectly fine. These new guys hold you at gunpoint because they think you're one of the bad guys until their leader turns up looking like an off-white Matrix character who traps you in electrical wires and shit, only for Yuri to show up telling them you're not the bad guy. Would it have killed her to let these special silver dudes know that there may be a young boy in a costume running around beforehand? They're called Sable and are a private security force hired by Norman for protection, which makes sense since the police in this city are less useful than a plastic straw is in the preservation of turtles. Go to Martin's office in the homeless shelter to try and find his plans, where you find the file that they stole that one time. Now you just need to sneak your way out. Hopefully nobody will see you.
Hello, Peter.
Yeah, Martin's here, and he's extra suspicious of you since you were just in his secret room of secrets, and after some passive-aggressive conversation, he leaves, and when you follow him, these guys wrapped in tinfoil attack you while he drives away. You found out he plans to use a bioweapon called Devil's Breath to launch an attack. With this sounds very serious, but MJ wants you to go over to hers in a bit to talk, which is code for she wants to get webbed up. You just need to help Octavius get his prosthetic working because he's doing that again. Honestly, I forgot about him, but now it's time to go to MJ's. She actually just wanted to talk. Damn it. Looks like Spider-Man's Spider-Peen will have to throw webs another day. She tells you about Martin getting an armored vehicle for his nefarious plans before you get a call about some crime nearby. The demon gang is attacking this place to find a guy called Charles to find info on another guy, so you save this guy. Sable sticks him under protection and you go find the other guy at this party. Martin and his boys turn up to kidnap that guy. Then Martin uses his mind control powers to use that guy to find another guy. This guy couldn't go under Sable protection though because... yeah. The final guy we're looking for is Morgan Michaels. He's the lead guy on the Devil's Breath thing and is in a secret lab somewhere, so break into Norman's office to find a slideshow conveniently already open on this exact subject. Apparently Morgan keeps the only sample of Devil's Breath on him at all times, and that's probably why Martin wants to find him. Meanwhile, MJ goes on her own stealth mission into Sable to find Charles because he knows where Morgan is. He's in a safe house and is being moved tomorrow. Charles also talks about this place called Grand Central but gets cut off by a certain superhero climbing on the tent roof. Finally, you get to do some normal Peter stuff and go to see Octavius. He's been busy sorting out his prosthetic and can juggle balls. What a scientific breakthrough. You also got Miles a job at the homeless shelter as a volunteer to take his mind off his dad being part of the city's infrastructure. Then you go and watch over Morgan as he's being transferred to make sure he doesn't fucking die, and this guy barely gets his ass on the car seat before the demon gang is like... Of course, these highly trained Sable guys get fucked, and Martin kidnaps Morgan with the devil juice, so you just start doing your superhero thing. Martin tries to convert you to the bad side with his mind control. It doesn't work because you've got a good mind. I don't know how this shit works. Then the truck crashes, probably killing about 30 people, and when you wake up, Martin's gone with the devil's breath. The leader of Sable shows up and tries to blame this on you, like her men weren't the ones who got ruined by the demon gang. MJ goes to Grand Central after Charles mentioned it to her without telling you, being like, "Ooh, Pete will just tell me to stay at home because it's safer there."
Mr. Lee.
Yeah, you look stupid now, don't you? Big boy Martin takes everyone hostage because he wants to force Norman to release the devil's breath using this fancy fan. What Martin doesn't know is that MJ has Spider-Man's phone number, so she messages you. You come down and basically sort everything out so they can't kill the hostages, then chase after Martin who's trying to escape. You and Martin have a big superhero clash where you're like, "I don't want to hurt you," and he's like, "Nothing can hurt me." Well, that was a fucking lie. Martin gets captured and the devil's breath is safe once again, so you go and visit Octavius at his lab, and it's safe to say he's been busy while you were away. This guy has become an arcade grabber machine. Octavius must have got a bit too excited because there's errors with his work that could potentially be affecting his mood. I'm still not sure though. You calm him down and get him to turn it off before leaving him completely unsupervised, and of course he turns that shit back on, sees Norman on TV, and I think he doesn't like him. Liar! The Sable team looking after the Devil's Breath was attacked, and now it's gone missing, and I can guarantee the leader of Sable will still find a way to blame it on you. If things couldn't get any worse, a load of prisoners have broken out of Rikers and the Raft, which is a Supermax facility holding all the supervillains. It's a shame you're not getting paid for this, because you'd be on some serious overtime right now. You go to stop the supervillains, and I swear this is what happens when that one teammate pushes a full squad by himself 100% of the time. Octavius with his octopus limbs shows up telling you to fuck off and leave them alone, because these guys are now sort of just working together, I guess. Gotta say, he works pretty fast to do all this stuff in the space of about 20 minutes after we saw him at the lab. He releases the Devil's Breath on the city because he wants to make Norman look bad for all the things he's done, but surely like an expose video on YouTube would have the same effect. Anyway, everyone's all dying because of the Devil's Breath, and Sable hates you now too. See, I knew she'd find a way to blame it on you. Unfortunately, you're still a superhero, so you have to go on cleanup duty. Meanwhile, Norman is sipping whiskey in his penthouse. Octavius's plans seem to be affecting everyone but the one guy he wants to get at. MJ starts looking for an antidote for the Devil's Breath while you try and track down Octavius. You manage to find his secret lab with all his secret things inside that tell you everything you need to know about their evil plans, including where the antidote is. Octavius is a smart boy though, and knew you were coming and rigs the place to explode. Obviously, you escape the explosion, but then this guy Vulture captures you. Oh no, I hope this evil supervillain doesn't kill you. He kinda just drags you down the street. Probably so him and Electro can double team you, but your ability to spray sticky stuff everywhere is stronger than their actual superpowers, so you beat them and go to find the other supervillains. This guy Scorpion stabs you with his scorpion tail, sending you on some mad acid trip. Could I get some of that? You manage to collect the ingredients to make a perfect antidote for it despite being higher than an 80s rock band, and go visit Aunt May. She's struggling with the Devil's Breath sickness, and Miles has gone out to get antibiotics for all the sick people. This kid must have like some balls of steel because he sneaks past all these Sable guys, then plays hide and seek with a supervillain who could easily snap him in half before punching a prison inmate in the face, all for some goddamn prescription mold. Afterwards, you capture Rhino and Scorpion. Well, actually, Rhino does most of the work for you. MJ breaks into Oscorp to look for the antidote, and using her unique ability to fuck with stuff, manages to find a secret door in Norman's penthouse. There's a lot of shit in this penthouse that we learn about, so I'm just gonna blow through it really quick. Norman has a son called Harry, who is friends with you and MJ. He's gone to Europe. The code to the secret door is his last day, which is in his bedroom. There's also a hospital bed in there, meaning he was sick, and probably went to Europe because it's free healthcare and that. MJ sneaks past the guards that have appeared and goes to the secret lab, where there's video footage of Martin getting experimented on by Norman and Octavius, leading to his powers and also killing his parents in the process. MJ also finds the location of where the antidote is being made. She then gets scared by a spider and smashes a tank, so the spiders are now more free than the average American citizen. Silverhead Sable Lady comes in because she heard it, but despite seeing the smashed tank and shit, just assumes it was the wind, I guess. MJ sneaks out onto the balcony and decides to end it all. Depression is a hell of a thing. You save MJ just in time, and all is good in the world. She tells you about everything. You go to find the lab that has the antidote while she looks after the homeless shelter with Miles. Also, she still has a spider on her shoulder, but that's probably not important. When you get to the lab, Martin is already there with Norman. You're about to go inside when Sable Leader turns up, somehow gets the drop on you like you're not the most acrobatic, gymnastic, martial artistic person on the planet, and when you say don't shoot, she's like, alright, fine. Some demons show up, she deals with them, and in turn you go and find Martin. We've already fought him once, so we kinda know how this goes.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga!
Then he whips out the Susanoo from Wish, but a giant demon apparition has nothing on a flexible young man in a skin-tight suit. You take the antidote off him just as Octavius is showing up, and he isn't happy with you, or Martin, or Norman, or anyone from the looks of things. But all his supervillain friends are captured, so you should have no problem beating him. This is probably just a skill issue. Octavius takes the antidote and kidnaps Norman while you're on the biological version of life support. Luckily, Sable Leader turns up and takes you to the homeless shelter where you're able to get treated. Aunt May is literally on a deathbed and you can't walk, but then MJ is like, you can do it, and now you can walk again and go to do stuff. The spider that was on MJ also goes on its own adventure where it happens to run into Miles, who gets bit by it. Let's be honest, we know what happens here. You go to the old lab and get to work on a gadget that'll help you fight Octavius and somehow bang out an entirely new metal badass spider suit in 5 minutes before running over to the Oscorp Tower where Octavius is shoving a camera in Norman's face, trying to make that expose video for YouTube. Then he drops Norman, but you get there just in time to stop him from terraforming the pavement with his face. You and Octavius fight, and honestly, he should have used his big brain to make something that'll counter your sticky webs. Maybe use like baby oil or something to make it slippery, because you sort of just go through phases of throwing webs at him and then punching him. Then you try to rip the thing off his neck that controls the arms, but he stops you and smacks you in the face, breaking part of your mask. But uh-oh, big plot twist. Octavius knew you were Peter the entire time, which makes you angry for some reason. Then you do this brawl on the side of the building. He nearly kills you, and you use that to remove the thing on his neck so his limbs die. And I get that he had control of these octopus limbs, but there is no way this old dude is surviving a fall like this. Octavius is like, ooh, I've changed. Please, let's fix this together. Like, yeah, I would have changed too if I just got my ass handed to me and fell 50 stories and I'm currently currently bent over a desk like I'm doing some weird yoga move. You leave him there, probably for like a paramedic to find him or something, and take the antidote to Morgan, who can make more using it, but that would take a while, and Aunt May doesn't exactly have a while. You go to see her, and she apparently knew you were Spider-Man the entire time too, so I guess you're just really bad at keeping secrets. Now you have to decide whether to save her and let everyone else die, or let her die and let more antidotes be made. It's very sad, yes, but I've got a video to finish, which is more important, so Aunt May goes bye-bye. The antidote gets made, and people are A-okay. You have a funeral for Aunt May, Octavius gets a creepy close-up of the camera, and 3 months later, you and MJ are definitely shagging tonight. As you complete Marvel Spider-Man.